Welcome to Solutions Rising. I'm Rachel Branch, and we have a very special program with McCann Technical School students Madison Harrington, Bree Gazoy, did I get it? And their principal, Mr. Justin Kratz, and Mrs. Cindy Bishop-Tinney, Skills USA advisor. We're going to talk about community service today and the incredible programs that McCann is doing in our area. So I think I'd like to start with each of us telling our viewing audience a little bit about your background. And since Mr. Kratz is surrounded by all women, I think it might be nice if we let him speak first and tell us a little bit overview of McCann. Or
Sure, yeah. So thank you for having us.
Oh, I'm delighted.
So I've been at McCann for 13 years now. I've been the principal for the last 7, and it's just a really incredible place to work. We have a lot of gifted students and faculty that are very career-focused, goal-focused, and community-oriented. They do a lot of great things both in terms of shop and as we have our Skills USA students here today, and some of our career technical student organizations getting involved in the community, and just proud to be a part of it.
That's great. And Mrs. Tinning, would you want to tell a little bit about your involvement and your work at the school?
Sure. I've been at McCann Tech for 14 years, and I've been a skills advisor for 14 years as well. There are 3 others, Tom Tinney and Pam Dorwin and Lisa Collins, along with myself. There are advisors of 12 students, skills officers, including these 2 wonderful girls right here.
I think our viewing audience would probably like to know what Skills USA is. We know at McCann.
Madison?
Well, skills, in my opinion, is something that we do kind of like to give back to the community. Instead of the whole school is involved where we compete, but being on the officer team means we get to help other people, and we do a lot of community service, obviously, and we get to meet obviously new people, and we go to a lot of different places like Fall State Leadership, which is coming up, and where we meet other kids from other schools that do the same thing we do.
Is Skills USA a national program?
Yes.
I never heard of it until I came to
So
McCann.
it's like it teaches you a lot of leadership skills, and it kind of puts you out there to do things that you wouldn't usually do without it.
How do you become a member of Skills USA?
At the end of my freshman year, my science teacher, Ms. Collins, who's also a skills advisor, she mentioned an opportunity to go to the state conference as a voting delegate, and that's what I did, and that kind of showed me what skills was, and I really liked it. So at the end of that year, I signed up to join the officer team.
That's wonderful. And you're president now? You're president? Yes. Congratulations. That's terrific. And Bree, you were also part of Skills USA, but you were also part of BPA. Would you like to talk about that?
So BPA, I'm the secretary this year.
And what is BPA?
It's Business Professionals of America. It's almost like skills, but we compete in just our business trade. So we'll go and compete in like Microsoft Office and public speaking, and it's also somewhat of a leadership role because then we can help others, which we get involved with skills with too.
So you can be part of both. Does part of your academic work in the business area kind of send you to the BPA area? Or?
Yes, our teachers would like us to do it. You don't have to do it as being in business technology, but they try to give you the opportunity as much as they can.
Does that help you make connections with businesses outside of the school?
Yes, they will contact you if you do well in your competitions, and some even go to the competitions to see how well you work under pressure.
That's terrific. Well, now let's get to the community service, which is just an area I just absolutely love. And maybe Mrs. Tinney would start off a little bit on Lewison House,
The Lewison House, I'd
which
be
will lead
happy
right
to.
into all the other programs.
Sure, I'd be happy to. We were searching to find something that we could help with, a bigger, wider project within our Skills USA with our students here, and we went to the Lewison House. So we approached them, and we took a walk through the building to see what they needed most there. And what was really in tough shape was the children's room. And so we had decided to kind of sink our teeth into that and make that our project. So we painted the children's room, and we put murals on the walls, and we bought new toys. And it was really wonderful. It was right before Christmas, so we put up a Christmas tree for the kids, and we brought some gifts in, and it was fun. Our culinary department made desserts for everybody at the Lewison House, so they were having treats, and we ordered pizza, and the kids worked hard creating a really sweet room for the children that were there. They put Christmas presents under the tree rather, but before that they were out raking the yard and getting everything ready for winter. And so that's kind of really what started our love affair with community service.
And Mr. Kratz, you've always said that McCann has been involved with community projects.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
Since its founding?
Dating back as far back as I know, and certainly before me, McCann's always been involved in the community in various ways. The shops helping out with certain community projects, and our member towns needing help with certain facilities or whatever the case might be. So we've always had a track record and a history of trying to give back to the communities and help out in that regard. But then, as Mrs. Tinney was saying, about 6-7 years ago, when this all sort of blew up to something larger, it was really student driven. The Skills USA advisors did a great job of putting the opportunities out there for the students, but then the students it was overwhelming to see the McCann students just step up to the task and embrace it. Like Mrs. Tinney was saying, just being at the Lewison House and then grabbing a rake and going out and just starting raking. And I think everybody in the school sort of caught this vibe that our students were really ready to run with this further. And then from there, it just kept getting bigger and bigger with the porch project that we did through carpentry in a bunch of our shops, and then the giving tree project that we do, and then that sort of morphed into...
We're going to talk about each one of those. And every time they came up with the project, would you and the students go to Mr. Kratz and say, we got another one?
There's been a number of stops by my door, but it's always, it's great. Those are the visits you want to have. Mrs. Tinney or some of the students will stop by and say, hey, we've got this going on, we've got that going on, and it's just been awesome to watch the students pick up and run with it. We really have great kids.
And who wants to talk about Lowe's? You mentioned the grants. There was a grant do you want to talk about the grant from Lowe's, what it was for and how you got it?
So right before my freshman year, so I think it was the year before mine, it was the spring of 2014, the kids competed at states for the Lowe's grant, and when they received that, they use that money and those supplies and stuff from
So they
Lowe's.
give you a choice?
Yeah, you
win the
compete
grant?
at the competition, and one in 26 schools in the nation got that.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Right.
and then they used that to build the wraparound porch for the Lewison House.
I love wraparound porches. I think, of course, that was just about the time I came on the school committee, and I thought that was wonderful to
It was
build a
an
wraparound.
enormous project.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was a very competitive grant that the Skills USA advisors did a great job coordinating and getting all the information together, because you had to demonstrate a lot of things to qualify and demonstrate the need and what you were going to do with it, and how you had to have plans, how it was all going to work. So it was a really rigorous selection process, and like Madison said, we were one of 26 schools across the nation that won the award.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was something.
And with that, every shop was involved. Every shop helped with that project, from culinary, making lunches for the carpentry students who were working there, and metal fab, making different parts of the project. And everybody was involved. And I think the biggest part is linking the children, linking the students with the community, and seeing the joy that they get out of being a part of that. It's just kind of warms your heart.
They had quite an effect to see people in really very difficult, dire straits. Bree, you want to talk about the giving tree?
Okay, so the giving tree is a thing that we do. We put little ornaments with things that people want on them, and we can go pick them up from the office, and you can just buy or get a donation or anything that's on that, and we collect them all, and then we wrap them.
And this giving tree, you have all kinds of things that different children or people
Children
want or
want,
organizations want? And
Yeah.
how do you find those out?
through the Lewison House.
Oh, through the Lewison House.
It's
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Lewis and
It's-
House children. Like,
Yeah.
we'll take, I don't know if, I think, what, you get a list of what they want, and then she'll separate it with the name of the child and what they want for Christmas. And I know I've gone in there the last couple of years and taken like 5 off the tree
I
about a
took some
bunch of
too.
different things that they want, and I'll go get it, and then we bring it in, and then all the skills officers will wrap it right before Christmas break.
Of course, sad to say, the Lewison House burned down, but you're still doing it. You're located in North Adams now until it's completed. So you're still doing that. Let's go into another project.
Yeah, the Giving Tree, last year we incorporated pop cares, and we, instead of just the presents for the children, we put on different gift cards that people could buy for pop cares to give to their,
Now, we need to tell what Pop Cares is. It's a wonderful program.
it's a nonprofit organization for local families that are struggling with cancer, like whether it's a patient or just a family that needs some support for another relative that has it. And we started to get involved with them last year through the Giving Tree. And after we did that, they asked us to help them with the Christmas tree selling that they do every year at the end of the Adams train ride. And that was a lot of fun because we got to make hot chocolate and watch all the little kids make their s'mores and help them do that.
And so tell us about the train. In the train, does it
So-
come from Adams to North
Yeah, it
Adams,
goes
and
from
then you meet it
Adams
at the
to-
end?
Yeah,
Or-
it goes to Adams to North Adams, and at the end of the train, like when it stops in North Adams, they all get off, and we're waiting there for them. They can pick out Christmas trees to come back for, and it's just a lot of fun to see all the kids, just grab hot chocolate. They all want to make s'mores. They all love to look at the Christmas trees.
This all started because of the family. The father died in the family, and it's a wonderful program, and to help those locally, just family members who are suffering and help their families. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful two-way street right there, or two-way train ride
Yeah.
even there. So that's part of it. And you did the chocolate trees. I went to a pancake breakfast. You did some pancake breakfast too.
Once we started getting involved in Pop Cares, like it kind of snowballed. So now 3 of the skills officers, including me, are part of the junior board members. And so we've been really kind of incorporating a lot of their fundraisers and creating different fundraisers to help them as a skills team. So we were talking about doing something other than like a spaghetti supper, because that's, people do that all
There are a
the
lot of
time.
those around.
So
Wonderful,
I was like,
but
okay, someone suggested breakfast, and I was like, well, we can try and have it at McCann, because I could have talked to Ms. Tinney about that. And I know a lot of people from doing so many community service things. So we coordinated that, and
Our
Yeah.
culinary department actually made the breakfast.
I was going to ask you who did that.
So
There's a
we-
wonderful culinary department at McCann.
Yes,
And they
we-
have wonderful tea room.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of buffets coming up in December.
And they took
Yeah.
their Saturday morning, to do that.
Which
To come
is
back
another-
to school and do that, which was
another
just,
one.
was marvelous.
Great giving, great gift too. So you got the culinary department to come and do it? Did you help
Yeah.
with the cooking, or was just culinary department people?
I wasn't able to make it, but I did do a lot in trying to pull it together. So
You need all of that. You need all of that.
More of the skills officers, we served the people that came in. So we left the cooking to the experts.
Yeah, yeah. Which is probably as it should be. Probably got rules and regulations about who could be in that kitchen, right, Mr. Kratz?
Yeah, we will make sure everything's sanitary and people know what they're
yes.
doing. Yeah.
And we want people to come back.
Right.
Oh, yes, we don't want any food poisoning or anything like that. And so here's another one. You do something else with one of the nursing homes locally?
when I first joined the skills team, we decided that we wanted to do something with the nursing home. And at first we were going to try and go in there to deliver the cards, but it didn't end up working. But ever since then, since it wasn't too much of a hassle, we just would start making cards for different holidays. Like we made them for that Christmas a few years ago, and then we followed up again on Valentine's Day.
So you would hand make them?
Yeah, as a team, we hand make cards. Like
wonderful.
we'll stay after school
Yeah.
1 or 2 days before the holiday, and we'll just make a bunch of holiday cards to bring to them. So we did the Christmas, Valentine's Day. Recently we've done Easter, but Christmas is usually the one that we get to every year.
And those times are, those holidays around that time are hard
It's so
for
much
people in
fun
nursing homes.
because-
A lot of them are
yeah.
alone. I'm sure you're just going over and
It's
doing
fun
that.
to make all those cards, you know, because
Yeah.
like you just get to be creative, and then
Draw little
I know
pictures.
Miss
Draw little
Collins
pictures, yeah.
said like
Stay
she told
inside
us
the
somebody
lines.
was real excited about that. So
But I'm sorry.
oh, Miss
Say-
Collins got feedback from somebody that goes there, and they were really happy about it, and
Yes.
that was nice to hear.
It's very special. Yeah.
I think that, and Mrs. Tinney can chime in too, but I think we knew we were sort of onto something going back to the Giving Tree. The first year we did that, it was, so Skills USA and BPA are career technical student organizations, and we have a lot of students involved in those. And we have our chapter officer teams, and they're great kids. They do a lot of work. But the Giving Tree was like, it was a school-wide thing. We put up the Giving Tree, and you have these stickers up there with the kids and what they're looking for. And people were coming in droves. Students from every shop, every grade level. We had a pickup truck full. And the response was so overwhelming from the student body that was sort of the tipping point, I think, for the school. The first time we did that, we said, whoa, I mean, we have our great student officer teams in both organizations, but there's a lot of larger untapped potential in our building here of a student body that really just wants to give back. And ever since then, I mean, people take the tags off the tree left and right and faster than we can put them back up, and they're buying extra things, and they're buying more than what's on the tree, and it's just really, it's across the entire school. It's amazing
So
to watch.
where do all these gifts go? Do they go to?
They go to the kids at the Lewis
Right.
House.
Okay.
So
It's still the
the
Lewis.
students from Skills USA wrap them.
yeah,
and
that's
then
fun.
They spend an afternoon wrapping all the gifts, and then our head custodian, Gary Pierce, plays sort of local Santa and drives them on down, and it's just amazing. The response is overwhelming.
It really is. It's
Yeah.
heartwarming, and we don't put any tags on the presents at all, so that the parents at the Lewison House can give them, to their children. So
Right.
I just have to
It's
say a
not
little.
really from us as far as the children know.
I just have to say a little side personal. The Lewison house is in my grandmother's house, and I'm really happy about it. I'm so glad to be part of McCann and see you doing that. But when we're talking about that, I know McCann is educating students for real life work, and this real life experience of seeing others in dire straits and difficult circumstances continues to be a terrific eye opener in creating ongoing connections with our whole community. So without realizing the impact or aware of what would happen, I suspect you students, the parents, teachers, administrators, and the community saw an extraordinary outcome. And I'd like each of you to talk just a little bit about your reactions about participating in your community service, which is just astounding. How do you feel? Well, did you have some, experiences, emotions that you didn't expect, or?
At first, it was like surprising how much like a teenage student could do to affect their community, because not a lot of people think that because you're still a kid you can't do a lot. But when you get a group of people together and we have like our eyes set on a goal that we can accomplish something, but now it's just like part of my day. Like that's, if I can help someone, I'll help someone. It doesn't really, I still go out of my way if there's someone that absolutely needs something, but I look for it wherever I go.
Did you personally find it empowering?
I did. It definitely changed my perspective on school, work, just my everyday life.
Can you tell a little bit about how it changed your perspective?
That there's so much people like less fortunate than us.
Yes.
And thinking that like, wow, I don't have something that someone else has, but then you see people that don't have anything close to what you want or have, and that you could give them the opportunity of having something that just will put a smile on their face.
It's beautiful.
It's well said.
Your turn.
I'm kind of like on the same page as her.
Yes, I'm sure. Yeah.
I've always kind of participated in things around like the community and like helped other people out, but until I joined Skills, I didn't realize how much I could actually do because I was too scared to do it by myself. So it kind of really threw me into something that it's kind of second nature at this point. Like helping people is just something I do every day at this point. Like I don't think a day has gone by in the past 4 years of high school where I haven't done something to do something for somebody else.
And look at the beautiful young woman you've turned into. And you can see the joy in your eyes, just in the smiles. I mean, that's part of it. That's so good for all of us when you do that. So we're getting to, let's see, we're getting down there a little bit.
I have two reactions.
Okay. And Mrs. Tinney, we have to let her know. Absolutely.
It's okay.
So no, but as principal, I'm just incredibly proud of our students and our faculty and all that they do. It's really just awesome to watch. But as an educator in general, not just, so there's the McCann piece of it, but then just being an educator in general, it's awesome to see. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, and maybe it's been long-standing, but you hear teenagers often get a bad rap, and the kids today, and this and that and the other thing. And so, as an educator, it's awesome to see the future and what the potential is and how much our young people really do have to offer. And, going out there and sort of setting the record straight for Northern Berkshire County about what our teenagers actually are and have to offer is just really, it's great to see. So.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. So a little surprising that it just grew and mushroomed and.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a little bit in some ways. I mean, I'm not surprised. I don't know. I've always believed that we have great kids and our kids are capable of doing awesome things. The volume of it and is, I guess, maybe a little surprising, but it's, it shouldn't be, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It shouldn't be surprising, but just to see the response and to see the school-wide embracing of these causes that our Skills USA advisors and our BPA advisors are out there trying to champion, and then watching our kids rally around them is just, it's awesome.
Mrs. Tinney?
Well, as you can see, it makes them blossom.
Yes.
Really, as individuals, and to have the opportunity to look outside themselves, I think is a great growing experience for them. And for me, just being a small part of it is incredibly rewarding.
Oh, I'm sure you're more than a small part of it. Frankly, I'm blown away by what I've seen at McCann.
Yeah.
So let's go around and what are your aspirations now in your educational world and taking these experiences with you?
Well,
What are your
seeing how
goals?
much I can help people and help them with their lives and just changing somebody's mood has actually made me want to do something in a medical field. I'm not sure quite what it's going to be yet, but I know I just want to be able to help people in the best way I can.
McCann's a wonderful place to help find your way, don't you think? Bree?
Yeah.
On the same lines as her, but I don't do needles. So I want to
I don't do needles either.
think about people with disabilities also have a bad rep. They can't do things, they get pushed to the side. So I want to do something to bring them back into the community and either speech therapy or just have teenagers in school get along with the rest of the school.
Exceptional, just wonderful. How about some last thoughts? We're getting down to the end right now. How about some last thoughts? Anybody?
We have our next big
we
fundraiser.
forgot one.
Our next
We
big
did.
fundraiser. Well,
Bingo's music
it's our
bingo.
Mingo's musical
Yeah,
bingo.
Mingo's musical bingo.
That will be March 16th.
Yes,
at
let's do some
Mingo's,
big
naturally.
promotion of that.
Yes. So that's our big, that's going to be
Yeah,
our big
that'll be
fundraiser
fun.
this year.
Mingo's
For
over
Pop
on
Stars.
Roberts Drive, and
Yes,
it's
yes.
on March
March 16th.
16th. Is
Yes.
that what day?
It's a Saturday night.
A Saturday night, March 16th.
Yeah.
Okay, let's find out what Mingo's musical bingo is. Does that mean you sing along while you're playing bingo?
Honestly, I don't know what musical bingo I know kind of what it is, but like I don't know how to
It
explain
doesn't matter, it sounds good.
It sounds, yeah, it
They'll
sounds really
play a
fun.
song and you have to try to figure out, they'll play a few tunes, you know, and you have to try to figure out what
Oh.
it is, I believe, is how it
Yeah.
goes.
It's
But
still
Yeah.
probably in
Yeah.
preparation
Yeah.
we
right
have a
now.
lot of
Heard of it.
preparation. We need to do a field trip.
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
field trip.
I've heard of it.
understand
I just haven't actually played it before, so
So
I
the
don't.
bingo with name that tune.
Yeah,
Together, something like that.
mix of that sort, but it sounds like a lot of fun.
So is this going to also be a way for the community to be supportive by buying tickets? And
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
I'm sure you'll have them available by the
By buying
spring.
tickets, we actually need some gifts or some, what would I call it, not awards,
kind of prizes.
winning
Yes.
prizes.
Yeah,
Usually
sure.
when there's a blackout, they have to have a big prize. And so we're just kind of just beginning to start to coordinate all that.
It's great. That's fun. And it sounds like it'll be a fun event.
I think there'll be a
Yes.
lot of
I can't
laughs.
wait.
It's something new, you know. I mean, I've been on this team for 3 years now, and this is definitely seems like one of the more exciting things that we've decided to do as a fundraiser. But you know, skills is always exciting to me. I'd say skills is my everyday life.
Well, that seems to be part of what Skills USA is. You keep coming up with new and innovative ways to do
that's what-
community service and
Yeah,
fundraising.
They all, the chapter officer team and the advisors, they all deserve a lot of credit for that because they're always thinking of, you know, in any community, you get hit with a lot of the same old fundraisers, same old things, and they've definitely been trying to think outside the box, and they've, you know, brought different ideas to me, and, you know, some of them we had to rein in a little bit, but most of them are green lighted, I'd say a fair percentage. But, you know, I do give them a lot of credit because they're trying to do different things and engaging things that you don't, you know, musical bingo, it's a great example of something just different, you know, get people out and for a good cause.
And in the school too, we try to, the students try to raise, you know, our school community spirit
Sure.
as well. So we do a
Yeah.
lot of that in there.
Which winds up raising the whole community. This is fantastic. I am just so grateful to all of you for coming and to do this again. Maybe we ought to get together before we do the Mingos. Do a Mingos.
Do an update?
Do an update, yes, or come in with some more ideas. But I want to thank all of
Bingo
you.
here. We could try a couple hands before
try.
we go.
We could do that. We could do a show on getting prepared for
how to
Mingo's
prepare for
musical.
musical bingo.
Yes.
We appreciate you having us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And if each one of us picked up one problem and solved it, imagine the incredible view we would all have of solutions rising.